Okay, so different camera angle this time around. I'm moving. Had to switch up my area a bit just to work something out. So yeah, but we're still doing these vlogs. So this is Amphibia. This is episode 14A, Snow Day. So I went onto IMDb to like make sure when this came out. Apparently this came out in like July, so I wonder if it was like a Christmas in July joke or something like that. Or did it come out in July? Crap, I already forgot. But it came out in the summer instead of the winter, so I was wondering why was it the winter themed episode at all. But pretty much this episode is, yeah, it's a snow day, but in this world that's not a good sign because that means okay, so apparently, okay, well, if the start it all starts at the house where Anne actually made the family omelets, which they immediately fall in love with, and they are rather, they like Hop's like, wow, this is way better than anything I ever cooked in my life. And it seems like, yeah, they're really gonna have a lot, but then Sprig bursts in and says that they have to sound the alarm, and so they go around town and Sprig's the alarm. I love him and Hop running around, or Hop's running around town with with Sprig on his back, and Sprig's just doing the siren noise like or something like that, and. Turns out, it's been 3 straight days where the temperature's been below the freezing or something like. I think they said something like that, and so that means the next day will be Hiber Day, which is a rather it's rather so what they say is Hiber Day in this world means all the inhabitants they freeze into ice, and it's for a whole day, but the problem is that when it happens someone usually goes missing and they're never found, and so because of that a lot of people are, they're scared about who's gonna be the one that's gonna disappear and never come back. And so at first, and obviously that kind of sparks a mystery, like, whoa, who could this be? What is it? A monster? Is it a new creature that we're gonna meet? Is it are we gonna see any of the taken people again? And all those questions are answered by the end of this episode, and a few of them we are yeah. So yeah, so and because she's a human instead of a frog, in other words, she's warm-blooded instead of cold-blooded, she volunteers to look after the entire town during this time. And so what they originally planned to do was they were going to have the whole town meet up at the town square, or the town circle, town square, right before the Hyper Day begins, so that way Anne can literally just keep an eye on everyone while they're there. And at first it seems like, yeah, that seems to be a good plan, but then a few things happen. One is Hyper Day came early. It's when they're walking home, all of a sudden Anne's like, hey, is it getting a little cold out? And then she literally looks down and everyone's frozen, like, oh, God. And so luckily she is able to round everyone up and get them in town square, and she goes through the checklist, like, okay, they're here. So she's like, all right, now I just gotta sit here and wait. Yeah, she sits there, she waits, and she is bored out of her mind. Yeah, this part of the episode is being able to, have patience, which Anne does not have in this episode, because she literally abandons the town square to thaw Sprig out. Like, she takes Sprig back to the house to thaw him out. And Sprig, let's just say Sprig acts like he had one too many, Oh man, I can't believe. I mean, it's one of those jokes where, as a kid, you're like, oh, it's because he just got thawed out and he's a little dizzy and tired and stuff, and it's like, no, but if you're an adult, you're like, oh my gosh. Yeah, he's really funny in this. Just him having to act like he's so out of it. He's just like, wee, so much fun. Yeah. They do so many things with the townspeople. They use them as bowling balls. Or bowling pins, I mean, like Anne rolls a giant snowball at them and it's like strike. They build like figurines out of them. They have a few like, Mrs. Croker, you are so lovely. Oh, thank you, Wally. That was a weird one. And it seems like they're having fun, but considering Anne isn't really paying attention to the town, someone goes missing again. In this case, it's Polly. That was actually kind of terrifying. It's just like, all right, let's go through the list. Sprig here, Polly here, Hop Pop here. Wait, Polly, why? Ah, she's gone. It's so they have to go searching for her, and they find this cave where a snow weasel lives, and I like how, and which makes sense why then someone disappears every year is because the snow weasel comes out during this time and looks for food, and thus it takes one of the townspeople as food. And so at first it seems like, oh, it's only for the weasel to survive, and so Anne and Sprig, Anne attacks so Sprig can rescue Polly, and then Anne discovers that the weasel also has its own babies, and so Anne realizes that if they take Polly, then the weasel has nothing to give the kids, so Anne took her omelet when Sprig showed up at the house at the beginning of the episode, and took her omelet to go, which was way too complex in my opinion, because what she did was, she's cutting it up, and she's like putting them in different Tupperware stuff, and it's just like, I just take the whole thing and plop it in one of those, and no, she's like, gotta get this, gotta get it. So she gives the weasel the omelet for the kids, and it seems like they leave them off on a good note. It's like, it's like, yeah. And then, they get back to town, and the whole town thaws, and so, so everyone's like, oh, everyone's here. Oh, no one got taken. Hey, congratulations. Yes, thank you, Anne, for protecting us. And Anne then is like, I'm sorry, I almost failed you. I failed you guys. She's like, I told you I would keep an eye on you and make sure no one was taken, but I failed at that because Polly was taken, and Polly's like, what? And then it's like, yeah, it's like Polly almost became food for the weasel, and then you kind of and then it's like and I like how you kind of have that realization, like, wait a minute, now that we know who takes a townsperson every single year, that means every single person that's been taken has been eaten by this weasel. So Polly's the only survivor of this entire tradition of this. So I think that's a little dark if you think about it. It's like, oh wow, no townspeople was saved. There was only Polly. Oh, the rest of the townspeople who've been taken. So yeah, and yeah. So Anne admits to the town that she messed up and that she was bad. But then I love the town. It's like, oh no, oh, it's okay, Anne. Honestly, if you didn't, we were all frozen in ice, so if you didn't say that to us, we would never have known. And the way they say it is like, yeah, if she didn't say anything, they wouldn't have known that, and they would have still praised her as a hero. I mean, they still praised her as a hero because she still saved them from being, from someone being taken, well, someone dying, I should say, in this situation, instead of someone being taken because Polly was taken. But, it seems like the whole town is giving Anne praise, but then, Sprig is like, hey, Anne, I found your phone, you see all the photos we did with the townspeople, and it's just like, oh no. Yeah, and then it just ends on this awkward moment in like spring. I think it was Hot Pup looking. He was like, Did you use us as bowling pins, Anne?" And I think yeah, it ends there. It's like I like this episode because yeah, it's like it has that mystery of the it's like, oh, this one night a year something happens and we don't know why, we don't know, and we don't know if we can stop it, and then it's like, oh, we'll see, let's spend the night and see what it is and see if we can stop it. It's like, I like that. I do like the fact that this is a snow day-ish episode, and it's not really the main. I mean, I like how it ties in with the story, this being like once a year this snow day happens and everyone in the town is frozen because of it. But since Anne isn't frozen, she pretty much couldn't treat it like a normal snow day. And for part of the episode, she does. Like, after she unthawed Sprig, like I said, they had fun with the town, and just were having fun with the snow. But, yeah, so I like how this whole thing goes. And even the credits, like, for... Like, they have another episode, like, there's episode 14B, but the credits, the outro, they have it being snow, and it's like, okay, that's cool. But again, I was like, this came out in the summer of 2019. I don't think this is not a winter, this is not a winter episode. But, I mean, for the most part, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it had an interesting idea and an interesting premise, and not to mention it gave another thing for the town to... Another connection between Anne and the town, this being that Anne was able to protect them from this Hiber Day, and the town really appreciates her for that. So yeah. Alright, well, that was episode 14A. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you in the next one.